It was a few days before Halloween, back in 2001. We were sitting in the school cafeteria, me, Phoebe, and Sarah, talking about costumes and candy like everyone else. Phoebe was practically bouncing in her seat, waving her juice box around as she talked. "I'm going old Maleficent this year," she said. "Black horns, long cape, the works." Sarah grinned. "You're really leaning into that witch thing, huh?" "Of course," Phoebe said proudly. "I'm gonna own that costume contest. What about you?" Sarah's smile turned mischievous. "Wednesday Addams. Simple, creepy, iconic. You can't go wrong with braids and sarcasm." They both laughed. I didn't. I was half listening, poking at my mashed potatoes with my fork. Then Phoebe noticed. "Jake, what about you? You haven't said a word. What are you dressing up as this year?" I shrugged. "I'm sitting it out this year." Both of them blinked. "Sitting it out?" asked Sarah. "Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not in the mood this year. Maybe I'll stay home, watch a movie or something." Phoebe frowned. "Come on, Jake. It's Halloween. This is supposed to be fun. We're all going to be at the town fair afterward. Costume contests, haunted house, free candy." "Appreciate it," I said, forcing a smile. "But nah, I'll pass." Sarah sighed. "You've been so dull lately. You're sure you're okay?" Before I could answer, I heard footsteps. Loud ones. Tyler. He was walking across the lunchroom with that same smug grin he always wore, his so-called crew trailing behind him like shadows. Tyler was the kind of guy who liked trouble the way most people like breakfast. He stopped right at our table. Well, he said, that grin stretching water. "Talking about Halloween, huh?" Phoebe looked up, cheerful as always. "Yeah, you got your costume picked out?"
He ignored her and looked straight at me. "What about you, Jake? You dressing up?" I met his gaze, expression flat. "No plans. I'll be home. If I want fun, I'll watch something on TV." Tyler's smile didn't fade. "Good." That word, good, sounded wrong. Too pleased. Sarah frowned, trying to ease the tension. "What about you, Tyler? Any plans for the big night?" He snatched a carrot from my tray, biting into it slow, still staring at me. "Oh, you'll see." Then he stood, gave me a pat on the shoulder that felt more like warning than a friendly tap, and walked away laughing. His crew followed, whispering among themselves. Phoebe wrinkled her nose. "That guy's weird." "Yeah," I muttered. "Weird's one word for it." Halloween night came, cold and rainy. I was home with Mom and my little sister Lily, who was 4 at the time. Dad was out of time for work. We were watching Hocus Pocus on the old box TV in the living room. Our golden retriever Billy was curled up by my feet, half asleep. Then he suddenly lifted his head and started growling. "Billy?" I called softly. "Hey, what's wrong, boy?" He didn't look at me. His ears were up, and his body was he was staring toward the back wall that faced the yard, the direction of the old wooden shack behind our house. Mom frowned. "What's gotten to him?" Billy barked once, then again, louder this time, pacing back and forth. "Hey, stop it," I said, but he didn't stop. Mom stood up too. "Something's not right. Billy never barks like this." She walked toward the kitchen window that overlooked the backyard. I followed her, heart thudding. Then I saw it, a flip of orange light outside. "Mom," I whispered, "is that?" She gasped. "Oh my God, the shack's on fire." In seconds, the orange glow brightened, flames spreading up the wood like it was soaked in gasoline.
Sparks leapt through the wind, landing on the dry leaves around the yard, and then the side of the house caught. "Jake, turn off the TV! We have to get out now!" I didn't even think. I grabbed Billy's collar and pulled him toward the front door. The heat was already creeping in through the floorboards. Mom ran down the hall, yelling, "Lily, wake up, sweetheart! Come on!" Smoke started filling the living room, thick and black. The fire crackled louder, wood snapping, glass shattering. I coughed, covering my mouth as I kicked open the front door. The cold night air hit me like a wave. Billy barked frantically beside me. Mom came running out moments later, clutching Lily in her arms, wrapped in her blanket. Neighbors were already stepping out of their houses shouting. One of them ran toward us. "We caused the fire department." Mom was crying now, voice shaking. "Oh God! Oh God!" I'd never seen her cry before. Not like that. She grabbed her phone, calling Dad, sobbing as she tried to explain. "It's gone. Everything is burning. I don't know how it started." The sirens came minutes later. Too late. The firefighters worked hard, but the house was almost entirely engulfed. All we could do was watch. And as I sat in Mom's car afterward, the windows fogged and smoky from our clothes, one thought kept replaying in my head. Tyler's voice, that grin, that single word. Good.
We spent the night at my aunt's place, an hour away. I barely slept. When Dad arrived the next morning, he hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. Then I told him everything. About Tyler, the lunchroom, that weird smile, the final word. Dad's expression hardened. He called the police. They listened, but without evidence, no footprints, no gas can, no witnesses. There wasn't much they could do. It could have been electrical, one officer said. Old wiring. Accidents happen. But it didn't feel like an accident. Not to me. Even now, years later, I can still see that grin in my mind every time I smell smoke. And I'll always believe Tyler had something to do with it. Because on Halloween 2001, someone wanted me and my family to burn.
It was Halloween night, and the air in Salem felt heavier than usual. The streets buzzed with costumed kids and flickering jack-o'-lanterns. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Maybe it was the fog rolling in from the harbor, or maybe it was Matt's stupid idea. I still don't know why we went in. Matt had heard about the old mansion on the outskirts of town, abandoned since the 1920s after the owner supposedly went insane and murdered his family. Locals called it the Mirror House. Every room was said to hold at least one mirror, each cursed to trap the souls of those who stare too long. "Come on," Matt said, his flashlight trembling in his grip, but his grin steady. "It's Halloween. What's the worst that could happen?" I shivered, pulling my jacket tighter. "You say that every time we do something stupid, and every time something bad does happen." Carlos chuckled. "It's just an old house, probably smells like rat piss and mold." The door groaned open like it hadn't been touched in decades. The smell hit us first. Damp wood, rust, and something else. Something sweet and rotting. Inside, our footsteps echoed down the long hallway lined with tall mirrors. Each one was draped in dusty clothes, except one at the very end. tall, spotless, and gleaming as if it were waiting for us.
That's weird, I said. Why is that one clean? Matt approached it. Maybe someone's been here recently? The beam from his flashlight landed on our reflections, but they looked wrong, fainter, slower. When Matt lifted his arm, the reflection lagged behind. Guys, I whispered, why is it moving slower? Then behind us, in the mirror, a dark figure appeared, tall, thin, watching. Matt spun around, nothing, just shadows and the sound of the old house breathing. When we looked back, the figure was closer. Its hand reached forward, palm pressed against the glass. Carlos frowned. That's just It smiled. And it wasn't our smile. Matt stumbled backwards. Nope, I'm done. Carlos tried to move, but his feet wouldn't budge. He was trembling. Guys, I can't move. The figure's grin widened. The mirror started to hum, a low, vibrating sound like something alive. I screamed and grabbed Carlos's arm. His skin was cold. Then, with a deafening crack, the mirror shattered outward. Shards slashed the air, and we ducked instinctively. When the dust settled, Carlos was lying on the floor, motionless. His flashlight had rolled beside him, its beam flickering over the broken glass and his pale face. We called 911. The paramedics arrived quickly, but it was too late. Carlos was pronounced dead at the scene. We told the police everything about the mirror, the figure, the humming, the way Carlos froze. They listened, took notes, and exchanged glances that said more than the words ever could. Later, in court, they said we were delusional, that we'd been influenced by urban legends and Halloween hysteria. The official ruling? Death by cardiac arrest brought on by acute shock. The autopsy confirmed it. Carlos had suffered a massive heart attack, but I know what I saw that night, and so does Matt. We didn't imagine that figure. We didn't make up the sound or the smile that wasn't ours. Carlos didn't just die. He was taken.